Today, I want to bring in Michael Allen. He's a foreign policy expert, worked in the Bush White House and stays in touch with things. What can you tell us about the NATO action here and how it all fits into the big picture that Hemmer brought up in the previous hour, which I think is so interesting to think about, especially if you have these countries. Like, if Germany is going to be a part of this with this particular guy who is the murderer that Putin respects, as I understand it, even a couple of months ago, Germany was saying, absolutely not, we will never do that. But today, it looks like it's happening.
You know, I think a lot of this has to do with the withdrawal of President Biden not running again next time. I think he's able to go to some NATO allies, maybe with a heavy heart, and say, listen, I understand that this Russian committed murder in a park in front of children inside of Munich, but we're trying to do a historic deal here. Let's win one for the Gipper, if you will. Let us have a little bit of room in order to trade this particular Russian. So I think Biden is leaning hard on friends and especially NATO allies so that he can try and get a grand deal. I have to say, it is almost without historical precedent. If this turns out as it's described, the only precedent I can think of in modern political history is, of course, Ronald Reagan winning the Iranian hostages back from Tehran moments after he was sworn in as president. So this is very potentially a positive development, and I think it's something that Biden is probably strengthened in his ability to get because he's exiting from the scene.
Okay, that may be true, Michael, but why would Putin do the deal now when he knows that American fighter jets have been delivered to Kyiv in Ukraine that will be used against his army?
So I wondered that myself. The only thing I can think of is that the time now is propitious for both Russia and the United States. The F-16s have come on order almost 2 years ago. It is true they're finally being delivered this week, but it's almost just an afterthought. The F-16s will take some time before they're able to have any effectiveness in killing off the Russian glide bombers, which, as I understand it, will be the primary use of the F-16s. And I think without the Ukrainian supplemental funding and without anything incredibly large happening in the war right now, honestly, it seems a little quiet and sleepy from a geopolitical standpoint just this week, as all the news is, of course, in the Middle East and elsewhere. And so, to me, I almost see this as a good opportunity for both sides to do it. I think Putin is getting more than he otherwise would have because Biden is looking at things and saying, this is my last bite at the apple. Let's go large. Let's go big or go home.
Michael, there is reporting that Turkey, which is one of our strangest NATO members, right? If you circle which one belongs, but maybe is a question mark there. But they're there. And every once in a while, they come through. Do you know anything about their role here?
So I've seen the press reports like you have, but you know what? Erdogan, the leader of Turkey, is probably the easiest to get on side on this type of deal because he still maintains a relationship with Putin. He feels like he needs to have a relationship with the Russian Republic. So I think it would have been much easier for the U.S. State Department and our negotiators to get Erdogan where they needed him if it were to condition the Russians to do more, or if there are Russians inside of Turkish jails, for him to be more open to getting them out. I think he's just more transactional, like an authoritarian, like Putin is. And so that was probably why they went in that direction with Turkey and said, let's get it all done at once.
Three-dimensional chess in real life. Michael Allen, thank you so much for your perspective.